been quite a journey since the NAMM show finished on the 19th of January. There was a sense of déjà vu, another year progressed forward, and then soon after we heard of coronavirus, we heard of COVID-19. It's been there in the background and it's steadily grown. There have been uneasy parallels with the SARS virus of 2003. It occurred obviously just before the start of Chinese New Year, and the virus became a pandemic as it spread to neighbouring countries. Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand being three of those. But the lessons of SARS have been learnt well in those countries. For instance, Singapore rolled out an orange alert. They put heat detectors into most buildings. Everyone had to sign declaration forms, thermometer scans, and they contained the virus. They got the numbers down. So on to ISC. Sandwiched between two Atlantic storms, the show went on. Albeit without LG and a couple of large manufacturers, but they managed to pull it off. It was a positive show. Personally, I got back to the UK just before another storm hit, and we completed our March-April issues. Coronavirus is in the background, but I felt confident enough I could take my trip to Southeast Asia. Onwards to Jakarta. I landed there on the 24th of February, and there was heat detectors, the thermometer checks, declarations, but there were no cases there. It was fine. Business as usual. Traffic was just as delightful as ever in Jakarta, and there were some floods which made those bluebird taxis do heroic things in floodwaters, and life went on. Onwards to Kuala Lumpur a week later, where, you know, the situation was a little bit similar. A few more cases of the coronavirus, but all and well. Yes, 30%, 25% occupancies in the hotels. The rental companies are suffering. There's no weddings, there's no programs, there's no seminars, there's a downturn, there's a feeling that this could strike any moment. There's paranoia in the air. We're hearing about Italy with the first viruses, about Iran. It's starting to spread. It's not good news for the entertainment industry. Social gatherings are being frowned upon, the rental companies are particularly suffering, and so I went on to Singapore, having attended the ABU, which really shouldn't have taken place. Only 11 exhibitors were there in Kuala Lumpur, and there's normally about 50, and no speakers really of note could travel under the restrictions. Singapore itself, 10% occupancy in my hotel, didn't see anyone in the elevator till the weekend, events cancelled, staff hours slashed. Singapore Airlines and all the others are slashing their hours and the flights. It doesn't bode well. You get that feeling that this could blow up at any time, and the rental companies are pretty much on their knees. And so are the installers, and so are the distributors, and so are the manufacturers. It's spreading throughout Europe, into Germany, into France, into Spain. We're having lockdowns, we're having lots of deaths. You know, it's very, very real. And the West, unfortunately, and America included, they're not as well prepared as China, as well prepared as Southeast Asia to contain this virus. So the virus has finally caught up with me here in Perth, Australia. I made it into Western Australia with 9 hours to spare before the government here imposed a 14-day self-isolation order. I've got my own story to tell. Business is suffering. We mirror what everyone else is going through. There's a need for me to get back. I've got elderly parents, I've got children who need me, and I'm stuck here for the time being. It's not great. But everybody's got a story to tell. What we have to get the message through is we're not alone. We all feel it's doom and gloom. We all feel there's no future ahead of us. There is. We have to take the positives, however bleak or however small they are. There's those supplying conference rooms, businesses booming perhaps, those who are creating websites or doing something to help others at this point in time, which doesn't need travel, doesn't need entertainment, doesn't need public gatherings. So generally, we're all trying to survive right now. There's a storm coming our way. If it's not hitting already, we're trying to batten down the hatches and survive. The future looks bleak, but let's hope when the storm's passed over, we can lift up the parapets and see what's out there. And the landscape will have changed, but we have to go forward. Our own businesses befalls on sponsors who have been very generous to us over 18 years. Some of those sponsors have to go back to their core business and look after their own. We fully understand that. Our business model will change, and despite some dark hours I've had myself, I've been encouraged by many to carry on our news theme of uniting the community at this greatest time in its need, and we will be there for you. There are some media words that really upset us in the blank canvas office. Game changer and disruption are just two of those. Reaching out is another phrase we don't particularly like in the blank canvas office. However, We are reaching out to you now. We're wanting you to contact us like never before. Please send in a few words and a picture. You've all got Wi-Fi, you've all got a camera, you've all got a notebook. Please let us know how you're getting on. Tell us how it is for you. We want to get you onto the world audience and relate stories. Make sure we're all in this together.